A woman bled for 12 years, spent everything on doctors who made her worse, and then touched Jesus' robe in a crowd and was instantly healed. Let me tell you why this story is about more than just physical healing. Before we dive in, I need you to do something real quick. Hit that subscribe button right now. It's the only way to support this channel and help us keep bringing you these powerful biblical stories. Seriously, click it. Turn on notifications too, so you never miss a video. Now let's get into this incredible account. This is a story about desperation, faith, shame, and the power of Jesus to heal not just our bodies, but our entire lives. To understand what happened, we need to know who this woman was and what she had been through. The Bible doesn't give us her name. She's simply called the woman with the issue of blood. But her anonymity makes her story universal. She could be anyone. She could be you or me. What we do know is that she had suffered from bleeding for 12 years. 12 years. Think about that. 12 years of constant physical suffering. 12 years of trying everything and finding no relief. 12 years of hope followed by disappointment, over and over again. The Gospel of Mark tells us she had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors. She had spent all she had on medical treatments. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. Imagine spending everything you own trying to get well and ending up sicker than when you started. That was her reality, but the physical suffering was only part of her pain. According to Jewish law, her condition made her ceremonially unclean. Levitical law stated that a woman with a discharge of blood was unclean for as long as it lasted, and everything she touched became unclean. Anyone who touched her became unclean. This meant she couldn't go to the temple. She couldn't participate in religious life. She couldn't be part of normal social gatherings. If she was married, her husband couldn't touch her. If she had children, she couldn't hold them. She was isolated, cut off, labeled as unclean. For 12 years, she lived as an outcast in her own community. The shame and loneliness must have been crushing. Not only was her body broken, but her social life, her religious life, her family life, everything was destroyed by this condition. She had tried everything. She had gone to doctor after doctor. In that time, there were all kinds of folk remedies and supposed cures. Some were reasonable. Many were bizarre or even dangerous. She had tried them all and spent all her money doing it. And nothing worked. She was out of options. Out of money. Out of hope. Then she heard about Jesus. Word was spreading throughout the region about this teacher and healer from Nazareth. People said he could heal any disease. The blind were seeing. The deaf were hearing. The paralyzed were walking. Lepers were being cleansed. Maybe, just maybe, he could heal her too. But there was a problem. She was unclean. According to the law, she wasn't supposed to be in public crowds. She certainly wasn't supposed to touch people. And approaching a rabbi, a holy teacher, when you were ceremonially unclean, that was unthinkable. If people knew her condition, they would have stopped her. They would have made her leave. They might have even punished her for breaking the laws of cleanliness. So she came up with a plan. She would hide in the crowd. She would stay anonymous, and she would just touch the edge of his garment. Not Jesus himself, just the hem of his robe. If she could just touch his clothes, she believed she would be healed. The day came when Jesus was passing through her area. A large crowd was following him. Among them was a man named Jairus, a synagogue leader whose daughter was dying. He had fallen at Jesus' feet begging him to come heal his daughter. Jesus agreed and started making his way to Jairus' house. The crowd pressed in on Jesus from all sides. It was the perfect opportunity. In all that chaos, in all that pushing and jostling, no one would notice one more person touching his robe. The woman pushed her way through the crowd. She was probably weak from 12 years of bleeding. She was probably afraid of being discovered, but she was also desperate. Desperate enough to break social conventions. Desperate enough to risk public humiliation. desperate enough to push through a crowd that would have rejected her, as they knew who she was. She got closer and closer until she was right behind Jesus. She reached out her hand, and she touched the edge of his robe. The Bible says immediately her bleeding stopped. Instantly, after 12 years of suffering, in one moment, she was healed. She felt it in her body. She knew the bleeding had stopped. After thousands of days of this constant affliction, it was gone. Relief, joy, wonder. She had done it. She had been healed, and no one knew. She could slip back into the crowd and disappear. No one would ever have to know she had been there. But then something happened that she didn't expect. Jesus stopped. In the middle of this pressing crowd, with a dying girl waiting for him, Jesus stopped. And he asked, "Who touched my clothes?" The disciples were confused. They said to him, "You see the people crowding against you, and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" Dozens of people were touching Jesus. The crowd was so thick they were pressing him from all sides. Why was Jesus asking who touched him? But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. He knew someone had touched him in a different way. He knew power had gone out from him. The woman realized she couldn't hide. She had been found out. The Bible says she came trembling with fear. She fell at his feet, and in the presence of all the people, she told him the whole truth. Imagine how terrifying that must have been. She was about to be exposed as unclean. She had broken the law by being in the crowd. She had made everyone around her unclean by touching them. She had touched a rabbi while ceremonially unclean. She could be punished, shamed, driven out, but she had no choice. Jesus was waiting for an answer. So she told him everything. 12 years of suffering. All the doctors, all the money, all the failed treatments. Her desperate hope that just touching his garment might heal her, and the instant healing she had experienced. She laid it all out before him and the crowd. And then Jesus spoke. What he said next was not what she expected. He didn't rebuke her for being in the crowd while unclean. He didn't scold her for breaking the law. He didn't shame her in front of everyone. Instead, he said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Daughter. That one word must have broken her. For 12 years, she had been untouchable, isolated, cut off from family and community. And Jesus called her daughter. He welcomed her. He affirmed her. He gave her back her dignity. Your faith has healed you. Jesus didn't take credit for the healing. He pointed to her faith. Her desperate, believing faith that pushed through a crowd just to touch his robe. That faith had accessed the power of God. Go in peace. Not just physical healing, but peace, wholeness, restoration. Be freed from your suffering. Not just freed from the bleeding, but freed from all of it. The shame, the isolation, the label of unclean, all of it was gone. This story is recorded in 3 of the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Each account adds slightly different details, but they all emphasize the same truths. So what do we learn from this woman's story? First, desperate faith moves Jesus. This woman had exhausted all her options. She had nothing left but a hope that touching Jesus might heal her. But desperation drove her to take a risk, and Jesus honored that faith. Sometimes we need to get to the end of ourselves before we reach out to Jesus with real faith. Second, Jesus cares about the whole person, not just the physical problem. Yes, he healed her bleeding, but he also cared about her shame, her isolation, her need for public restoration. That's why he made her come forward and tell her story, not to embarrass her, but to give her back her dignity in front of the community that had rejected her. Third, Jesus sees us even in the crowd. There were dozens, maybe hundreds of people touching Jesus that day. But he knew when this woman touched him with faith. You're never just a face in the crowd to Jesus. He sees you. He knows you. He recognizes your faith. Fourth, faith doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. This woman's faith was mixed with fear and probably some superstition. She thought touching his garment had magical properties. But Jesus didn't correct her theology. he honored her faith. Even imperfect faith can access God's power. Fifth, Jesus values public testimony. He could have let the woman slip away quietly, but he made her tell her story publicly. Why? Because her testimony would encourage others. Because she needed to be publicly restored to community. Because her story deserved to be told. When God heals you, tell someone. Your story might be the hope someone else needs. Sixth, physical healing is important, but spiritual and emotional healing are just as crucial. Jesus gave this woman all three. Her body was healed, her shame was removed, her relationship with God and community was restored. He offers us the same complete healing. Finally, it's never too late to reach out to Jesus. This woman had suffered for 12 years. She had tried everything else first. She came to Jesus as a last resort, but Jesus still healed her. There's another layer to this story that often gets overlooked. The number 12 appears twice in this account. The woman had been bleeding for 12 years, and the little girl Jesus was on his way to heal was 12 years old. For the same amount of time that one person was experiencing death and decay, another was experiencing life and growth. One woman's suffering began the same year another girl's life began. And on the same day, both received healing from Jesus. This parallel reminds us that Jesus cares about all stages of life and all types of suffering. He cares about the young girl just beginning her life, and he cares about the older woman whose life has been marked by pain. No one is too young or too old for his attention. The woman's condition also has symbolic meaning. Bleeding represents life draining away. In Jewish thought, blood is life. The constant flow of blood from this woman's body symbolized her very life slowly ebbing away. For 12 years, she was experiencing a slow death. When Jesus stopped the bleeding, he wasn't just fixing a medical problem. He was restoring her life. This is what Jesus does. He stops the slow death of sin, shame, and suffering. He restores life. Think about the courage it took for this woman to do what she did. She knew the risks. If people recognized her, if they knew she was unclean, there could be serious consequences. But she took the risk anyway. Sometimes faith requires us to take risks. To step out even when we're afraid. To reach for Jesus even when the crowd might reject us. Her faith was also specific. She didn't just hope that maybe someday something might help her. She believed that if she could touch Jesus' garment, she would be healed. That specificity matters. Vague hopes don't change much. But specific faith, faith that reaches for Jesus in a particular way, that's the faith that sees miracles. When Jesus asked who touched him, he already knew. So why did he ask? He asked for her benefit and for ours. He wanted her to have the opportunity to testify. He wanted her healing to be complete, not just physical, but also social and spiritual. By making her identify herself, Jesus gave her a platform. Her story became part of the gospel record. Millions of people over thousands of years have been encouraged by her testimony. If Jesus had let her slip away, we wouldn't have this story. Her moment of fear in coming forward became a testimony for all time. God often uses our scariest moments to create our greatest testimonies. The phrase "your faith has healed you" also significant. In Greek, the word for healed is sozo, which can mean physical healing, but also means saved. Jesus was saying, your faith has saved you. This wasn't just about her body getting better. This was about salvation, wholeness, restoration to God. Physical healing was a sign of deeper spiritual healing. Jesus does the same for us. Yes, he cares about our physical needs, but he's even more concerned with our spiritual condition. He wants to save us, not just make us comfortable. The command to go in peace is also powerful. In Hebrew, the word for peace is shalom. It doesn't just mean the absence of conflict. It means completeness, wholeness, everything being as it should be. Jesus was sending this woman into a new life, a life of shalom, where her body worked correctly, where her relationships were restored, where she could participate in community and worship again, where shame and isolation were replaced with dignity and belonging. That's the peace Jesus offers all of us, not just feeling calm, but experiencing life as God intended it. There is also something beautiful about Jesus stopping for this woman when he was on his way to heal someone else. Jairus' daughter was dying. There was urgency. Jesus needed to get there quickly, but he stopped for this woman anyway. To Jesus, people are never interruptions. They're never inconveniences. Each person matters. Even when there's something else urgent happening, Jesus has time for you. Your need doesn't have to compete with someone else's. Jesus has enough attention, enough power, enough love for everyone. Some people wonder why the woman was healed by touching Jesus' garment. Was there power in the cloth itself? No, the power was in Jesus, but Jesus allows our faith to contact his power in different ways. For this woman, it was touching his garment. For others, it was Jesus touching them. For some, it was a word spoken from a distance. For the blind man, it was mud placed on his eyes. Jesus doesn't heal the same way every time. He meets each person where they are. He honors the way their faith reaches for him. There's no formula, no magic method. There's only Jesus and our faith reaching toward him. The woman's story also teaches us about persistence. She had tried everything for 12 years. She could have given up. She could have accepted that this was just her life now, but she didn't. When she heard about Jesus, she pursued healing one more time. Persistence in faith matters. Don't give up just because you've been waiting a long time. Don't stop reaching for Jesus just because you've tried other things that didn't work. Keep pursuing him. Keep believing. Keep reaching out in faith. He rewards those who earnestly seek him. Another aspect of this story worth noting, that the woman came from behind Jesus. She didn't approach him face to face. She tried to stay hidden, anonymous, but Jesus made her come forward and face him. Sometimes we try to have a hidden relationship with Jesus. We want his benefits without public identification. We want healing without testimony. We want salvation without surrender. But Jesus calls us to come out of hiding, to identify ourselves as his followers, to let our faith be known. There's power in public faith, in telling your story, in letting people know what Jesus has done for you. This story is also about interrupting shame narratives. For 12 years, this woman's identity had been shaped by her condition. She was the unclean woman, the outcast, the one who couldn't be touched. That shame had probably become part of how she saw herself. But in one moment, Jesus changed that narrative. He called her daughter. He praised her faith. He sent her away in peace. Her identity was no longer defined by her condition, but by Jesus' words over her. Jesus does the same for us. Whatever shame narrative you've been living with, whatever label society or your own mind has put on you, Jesus can change it. He speaks a new identity over you, not defined by your past, your failures, your condition, but by his love and acceptance. The timing of this healing is also worth considering. It happened in the middle of another crisis, while Jesus was rushing to heal a dying girl. Sometimes our breakthroughs come in the midst of chaos, in the middle of crowds and crises and urgent situations. God's timing often doesn't match our expectations, but it's always perfect. This woman had waited 12 years, but the moment of her healing came in the midst of a busy, chaotic day. God's timing is not about convenience. It's about his perfect purposes unfolding. Trust his timing even when it seems odd. There's also something powerful about Jesus using this moment to teach. The woman wanted to be healed quietly and slip away, but Jesus turned it into a teaching moment for everyone present. For the woman, she learned that her faith mattered to Jesus. For the crowd, they learned that Jesus sees individuals even in chaos. For Jairus, who was anxiously waiting, he learned that Jesus has time for everyone. For the disciples, they learned to pay attention to faith, not just physical contact. One healing moment became a classroom for multiple lessons. God often uses our individual stories to teach others. Your testimony isn't just for you. It's for everyone who witnesses it. Finally, this story reminds us that Jesus has unlimited power. The woman touched him, and power went out from him to heal her. But Jesus wasn't depleted. He went on to raise Jairus' daughter from the dead. Healing one person didn't use up his power. He had plenty left for the next person, and the next, and the next. Jesus' power is not a limited resource. He doesn't run out. Someone else receiving healing doesn't mean there's less for you. Someone else getting a miracle doesn't diminish your chances. There's enough of Jesus for everyone. Enough power, enough love, enough grace, enough healing. Let's go deeper into what this healing meant for the woman's life going forward. After 12 years of being labeled unclean, she could now return to normal life. She could go to the temple again. She could participate in worship and festivals. If she was married, she could be with her husband again. If she had children, she could hold them without making them unclean. She could sit at the same table with others. She could be touched, hugged, welcomed. All the things that most people take for granted were now available to her again. The healing wasn't just a physical change. It was a complete life restoration. Think about the financial impact too. She had spent everything on doctors. She was probably in poverty because of her medical expenses. Now she no longer needed treatment. She could work again. She could provide for herself. She could rebuild her life financially. Jesus' healing had economic implications. When God heals, He often restores more than just one area of life. He brings comprehensive restoration. The emotional healing must have been profound as well. 12 years of rejection, isolation, and shame. 12 years of being made to feel less than, unworthy, untouchable. All of that was wiped away in Jesus' words, "Daughter, go in peace." Daughter, she belonged. She was accepted. She was valued. The emotional wounds that accumulated over 12 years began to heal with that one word. This is important because physical healing without emotional healing leaves people still broken. Jesus healed all of her. Her story also shows us that healing can happen in unexpected ways. She didn't have a formal prayer time with Jesus. She didn't go through a healing line. She didn't even ask him directly. She just touched his garment in faith, and that was enough. God is not limited to our expected methods. He can heal in surprising ways, through a touch, through a word, through circumstances we didn't orchestrate. Stay open to how God might work. He's creative and surprising. The fact that Jesus was on his way to heal someone else when this happened is also significant. It shows that God can work on multiple fronts at once. He wasn't choosing between healing this woman or healing Jairus' daughter. He did both. Sometimes we think God can only focus on one thing at a time. That if he's helping someone else, he can't help us. That if he's working somewhere else, he's not working in our situation. But God is not limited by time or attention. He can work in multiple lives simultaneously. He's working in your situation even while working in countless others. The woman's anonymity in the story is also instructive. We don't know her name. We don't know her background beyond her condition. This makes her representative of anyone. Her story is accessible to all of us. Whatever your condition, whatever your shame, whatever has isolated you, her story speaks to you. You can be the woman in this story. You can reach out in faith to Jesus. You can experience healing and restoration. The principles in her story apply to your situation. It's also worth noting that Jesus didn't just heal her and move on. He engaged with her. He stopped. He listened to her story. He spoke words of affirmation and blessing over her. He gave her his full attention. Jesus doesn't do mass-produced, assembly line healing. Each person receives personal attention. Your healing, your story, your faith matter individually to him. The woman's faith is especially remarkable when you consider what she was up against. She had 12 years of evidence that nothing worked. Every treatment had failed. She had every reason to be cynical, to give up hope. But when she heard about Jesus, hope rose in her again. That hope gave birth to faith, and that faith moved her to action. Hope, faith, action, that's the pattern. Even when circumstances have beaten you down, when you hear about Jesus, let hope rise. Let that hope become faith. Let that faith move you to reach out to Him. The story doesn't tell us what happened to the woman after this day, but we can imagine. She probably went home and told everyone what happened. She probably became a testimony in her community. People who had avoided her for 12 years now heard her story of healing. Her life became a living testimony to Jesus' power. That's what happens when Jesus heals. You become a walking testimony. Your life points others to Him. Your story gives others hope. This woman's encounter with Jesus happened in a crowd, but it was deeply personal. Jesus made sure of that by stopping and asking who touched Him, by making her identify herself, by speaking directly to her. In the midst of the masses, Jesus sees individuals. In the chaos of the crowd, He notices personal faith. You're not lost in the crowd to Jesus. He sees you specifically. Your faith, your need, your reach toward Him. The healing also came with a blessing. Go in peace. Jesus didn't just fix her problem and send her away. He blessed her with peace, with shalom, with wholeness and well-being. God's healing comes with blessing. He doesn't just solve the immediate problem. He speaks blessing over your future. Before we wrap up, I want you to take action. If this story has encouraged you, hit that like button. It helps this video reach more people who need to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what part of this woman's story resonates with you most? Is it her desperation, her faith, Jesus' response? Share your thoughts. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We're creating content like this regularly, diving deep into biblical stories that transform lives. Click subscribe and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement. Maybe someone who's been struggling for a long time. Maybe someone who's lost hope. Maybe someone who needs to know that Jesus sees them even in the crowd. Send them this video. It might be exactly what they need to hear today. This story of the woman with the issue of blood is ultimately a story about Jesus, about who He is and how He works. He's approachable. He's powerful. He's compassionate. He sees individuals. He values faith. He brings complete healing. He restores dignity. He speaks peace. That's the Jesus we meet in this story. And He's the same Jesus available to us today. Whatever you're facing, whatever has been draining life from you, whatever has isolated you or brought shame, Jesus can heal it. Not just the surface issue, but the deep wounds, the emotional scars, the broken relationships, the lost years. He restores all of it. So reach out to Him. Like this woman, push through whatever obstacles are in your way. Push through fear. Push through shame. Push through doubt. Push through the crowd of other voices telling you it's hopeless, and touch Jesus. Reach out in faith. Believe that He can heal you, that He sees you, that He cares, that He has power sufficient for your need. Your faith will access His power. Your desperate reach will connect with His limitless resources. And you'll experience what this woman experienced. Instant healing, public restoration, personal affirmation, blessing for your future, shalom, wholeness, everything being as it should be. That's what Jesus offers, not just physical healing, though He does that, but complete life transformation, a new identity, a new story, a new future. From outcast to daughter, from shame to dignity, from isolation to community, from suffering to peace. That's the journey this woman took in one moment of faith. And it's the journey Jesus invites you to take today. Reach out to Him. Tell Him your whole story. Let Him speak His words of healing and restoration over you. And then go in peace. Live the life He's restored to you. Become a testimony to others of what Jesus can do. Because your story matters, your healing matters, and the faith you show today to encourage someone else tomorrow. Just like this anonymous woman's faith has been encouraging people for 2,000 years, your moment of reaching out to Jesus might become a testimony that echoes far beyond what you can imagine. So take that step of faith today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, it's never too late to reach out to Jesus. He's waiting. He sees you, and He has the power to heal whatever has been breaking you.